In a game like basketball, injuries are not uncommon. From broken bones, sprained ankles, and a player almost losing his eye, to having to amputate a leg, the NBA has some of the most brutal injuries. Like the time when Andrew Bogut got slam dunked on so hard that he broke his wrist, or Marquise Daniels, who was left paralyzed after colliding with another player, and Steve Nash's nose injury. These kinds of incidents serve as a reminder of how unpredictable basketball injuries can be. Even more upsetting than witnessing the incident itself was the fallout when Derek Fisher accidentally hit Steve Nash in the nose.
Nash took a shot. Once again, this time to the bridge of the nose.
Nash's nose dangled from his face, but he did something truly extraordinary.
He's trying to rearrange his nose.
Instead of immediately seeking medical attention or sitting on the sidelines, Nash, of course, played it cool. While the cameras focused in to record the painful moment, he casually popped his nose back into place. Nevertheless, despite having a broken nose, he insisted on helping his team. Nash then proceeded to make 2 clutch shots, which led his team to victory. This incident just shows Steve Nash's determination to never let his team down. Even though nose injuries can be painful, it's nothing compared to what Alan Reese experienced. Reese's eye suddenly popped out of its socket during a game. Yeah, hard to believe, right? When discussing some of the most severe injuries in basketball history, it's impossible to ignore Alan Reese's eye injury. Have you ever heard of a game-related eye injury before? This injury is quite possibly one of the worst basketball-related injuries of all time. Alan Reese, a player for the Villanova Wildcats, attracted a lot of media attention when he injured his eye while attempting to steal the ball from another player. Maybe it wasn't as bad as it seemed after all. Although it appeared as though Alan's eye was forced out of its socket, this was actually the result of his eyelid being pushed back firmly. Fortunately, the damage wasn't too severe, despite the stress from the impact and the sudden exposure to sharp light. Reese experienced a temporary loss of eyesight and he suffered some minor damage to the eye. However, he showed incredible resilience, and he was able to return to the game the following week. His impressive performance led Villanova to victory in that year's finals. This eye injury became the talk of the basketball world and remains unforgettable. While you may have seen your fair share of elbow injuries, prepare yourself for a truly brutal spectacle. But this might be one of the most harsh elbow injuries ever witnessed in the NBA. It's definitely not something you see every day. When discussing the most severe injuries in basketball history, it's impossible to ignore Andrew Bogut's elbow injury. This incident is remembered by every basketball fan as one of the most famous court accidents ever to occur. The player who stands at a towering 7 feet tall and weighs 260 pounds, not someone to mess around with. The Milwaukee Bucks' towering center, coming down hard after a powerful slam dunk against the Phoenix Suns, dislocated Andrew Bogut's right elbow.
After missing the 3 games, how about that pass to Bogut? Uh-oh, watch out. Oh, no. Andrew Bogut came crashing down.
Broke his hand and sprained his wrist.
Oh, jeez,
man.
I can tell it is not in position right now. Amar'e Stoudemire trying to get out of that way, trailed it the whole way.
Unfortunately, this incident wasn't the only thing ending Bogut's career. During his career, he also suffered a sprained foot, a fractured ankle, and several high-impact collisions, which ultimately led to the end of Bogut's professional career. Unfortunately, the elbow injury forced Bogut to miss multiple games and affected his overall time playing in the NBA. Just imagine the beast he would have been if he hadn't wasted those important years on recovery. Despite this major setback, Bogut's name is still remembered as a sports legend in basketball history. We can only speculate about the amazing things he might have accomplished had things gone differently. Maybe everything happens for a reason, as they say. In the world of the NBA, where athletes rise to new heights, devastating injuries can happen, like the leg injury that left doctors with no choice but to consider amputation. Yep, you heard that right. Shaun Livingston was facing this dilemma. Yes, it's hard to believe, but true. The knee injury to Shaun Livingston was not a typical injury. Even though we frequently hear about common basketball injuries, like knee and arm injuries, there are times when these injuries get so bad that they're among the worst ever to occur in the NBA. The knee injury Shaun Livingston suffered happened during a matchup with the Charlotte Bobcats. Livingston, a guard for the Los Angeles Clippers, landed awkwardly after missing a shot and tore 3 ligaments in his left knee. Even witnessing the incident was painful.
he dislocated his patella.
Livingston's injury was so severe that doctors considered amputating his leg, which was a clear indication of how serious it was. His one leg was bending improperly, which made it fold up under him, making the situation worse. A promising career in its early stages was in danger of being ruined by this devastating injury. Livingston underwent a long and difficult recovery process. His basketball career was suspended during this time. Livingston absolutely refused to give up his basketball career. Despite the difficulties, he didn't give up hopes about returning to the NBA. And after more than a year of recovery, he finally returned to the NBA. His endurance and talent showed that nothing could stop him from realizing that dream. From Livingston having dislocated his knee and being able to recover from the injury is remarkable. When it comes to unforgettable injuries, Marquise Daniels' back injury really stands out. The impact was so severe that he had to be carried away on a stretcher. Definitely not something you see every day in the NBA. Unquestionably one of the most painful injuries in sports history is Marquise Daniels' back injury. Marquise collided with one of their guards during a game against the Orlando Magic, sending him to the ground. At first, a foul was called because everyone believed Daniels was fine. But as the next play started, it was clear that something was seriously wrong.
As you'll see here, with the look of anguish right there, that initial hit is what has caused the problem for Daniels to be down.
The whole arena suddenly turned silent as they noticed something wasn't right. Within a few minutes, the paramedics arrived and Daniels was put on a stretcher. This injury stands out as one of the most severe basketball injuries to ever occur on court during a game. Marquise suffered a bruised spine, a condition that prevents him from performing on the same level as before. Despite being carried away on a stretcher, he managed to give fans a quick thumbs up, but shortly afterward, he lost feeling in his arms and his legs due to damage to his spinal cord. The spinal cord, being the central component of the nervous system, can lead to numerous side effects when injured. Thankfully, Marquise regained feeling while in the hospital and he made a complete recovery from his injury. Basketball injuries can be tough, not only for the players, but also for the spectators. It's hard to witness anyone, even an opponent, getting hurt or losing valuable time in their career due to an injury. Hopefully, in the upcoming seasons, we'll witness more thrilling moments on the court and less time spent on medical treatments. Marquise' injury will forever be remembered by the audience because it was nearly unbearable to see him in such a condition.
Certainly prayers and thoughts go out to Marquise Daniels.
Nevertheless, due to hard work and dedication, he managed to make a remarkable comeback to the NBA in just 2 months. Injuries don't only come from the players colliding, but even the basketball has caused the players some serious damage. So make sure to check out that video where we take a closer look at the basketball that injured players' hands.